Welcome back to more Disco Elysium. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff to get accomplished today, so let me get right to it. I think Kim should be here. There he is. Very good. All right. Good morning. Good morning, Kim. What do I want to do? Let me start over here. Now that this is open. It feels safe and warm in here, not like outside.
Hello, mister.
The net picker's daughter waves at you. I heard there was a girl who had armored gloves. Is that you?
Oh, I had gloves. Very big ones. Heavy, too.
She looks alarmed.
Where did you get these gloves?
Found them when Lemmy and I were playing hide and seek. In an empty house. Where no one lives. I think someone hid them there.
She doesn't want you to think she stole them.
And where are the gloves now?
I hid them. The twins were gonna take them. They're stupid.
She lifts her stuffed toy up and looks into one of the remaining eye as though searching for confirmation.
We're going to need those gloves. It's for important police business.
He enunciates the last two words carefully.
Oh.
She doesn't seem to understand, but the lieutenant's tone has conveyed to her the important part.
They're in my sandcastle. Behind our house. Under the sand. You can break the castle. It's not very good.
She points somewhere outside. Are the twins outside your brothers?
Yes. They don't want to play with me. They're older and play outside. They look the same. Sometimes I can't tell them apart.
They look identical, right? I said the same thing.
They look identical.
Goodbye.
Bye!
The girl's large, curious eyes remain fixed on you. Okay, very good. So the glove should be in the sandcastle. I think it's right over there.
Weather has not been kind to Lily's little sandcastle. The once mighty towers are quickly eroding away. You can see something shining back to you from what must have been a vast underground catacomb network.
Broken.
The little castle? The reigning lord must have come upon some really tough times to let it sleep in such decrepitude.
Gonna reach into the catacombs and pull out the shiny object.
The walls and floors give way to the giant's greed, collapse and present you with a pair of ceramic gauntlets.
Congratulations. That's the gauntlets down then. We're doing good on the armor collection front.
Nice. Let me take a look at the armor here. So +2 interfacing. Clenching and unclenching your fist has never been so fun. The tiny ceramic plates make lovely clicking sound when the fingers move. The gloves are a bit sandy, but the grip is phenomenal. Okay. So let me see if I can find the buoy with the passport. She said it was somewhere west of the dock. So let me keep going west here, see what I can find. Some people there. They were not there before. I'll come back to that. Give me just a second. I want to go all the way to the shore here. I don't see anything. There we go. Could this be the buoy Classe told you about?
A metal and plastic contraption bobs up and down amidst the trembling reeds. At first, it just looks like trash, but if you look closer...
That over there must be the boy Class you told us about. The one she hid her passport in. We should take a look.
So I'm gonna assume that my detective caught Kim up on the interrogation of Classe.
Cold, air, tendons, snapped the cords keeping the boy in place. A little longer and it would be floating somewhere out in the open sea.
What?
Moves across the water, leaving no traces. You're cold again, as always.
Yes, but who or what is this?
Splendor.
Damn, I felt really strange just now. No further response. All his concentration is on the contraption. We're lucky it's still here. A little longer and it would have floated away.
Indeed. Let's see what's inside.
Let me pick up the buoy.
The buoy is not tied to anything. The cords dangling from the bottom really have been torn or cut. You lift it out of the water easily, noticing how light it is.
Let me examine the plastic ball.
The number 11 has been written on the yellow plastic. It hasn't been in the water for very long, but it's already discolored and slimy with silt. A latch holds it close, but only just barely. The brittle metal of the latch has cracked.
Simple construction. Very unsafe.
Shake the buoy.
There's something in there, splashing around.
Sniff the buoy.
It smells like you would expect it to smell. A concentrated version of the coast. Salt, industrial slop and decay.
Open the buoy.
A shot glass's worth of seawater pours out. Some algae, and nothing else.
Well, damn.
No documents. Who do you think took them?
I have no idea.
The lieutenant taps his foot, frowning. This is a minor quirk. We know what was in the buoy anyway.
Or think we do. This is a small loose end, either way. Not important, I hope.
Maybe Clausier took them herself.
That may very well be the case. We should keep an eye on her. Nothing more for us to do here. Let's go.
You could ask the miss what she thinks. Later, if you have the time. Though you doubt she'll tell you much at this point.
Let the empty buoy be. Okay. Let me head back down. I want to go talk to those people that were up here at the dock. And then I do want to try again to open the church. I'm going to have to put a point into physical instruments, I think.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with.
A blond man stands next to his son, pointing to the weather-worn ruins. He sees you approaching and smiles.
You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Tran Heilostam. You must be Kim Kitsuragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
Nice to meet you.
Hold on, hypertext?
Yes, hypertext. Young Carp and the collection of cultural hyperlinks.
Wait, what was that about the windows before?
Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall.
You and Kim know each other?
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers.
He rests his hands on the boy's shoulders. The child stays hidden behind them and the hem of his father's coat, clutching to his worm-themed coloring book.
Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into verbs lately.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
He points to the building again.
This man is your half-brother. You feel it. But why? Well, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the Occidental countries.
You look like someone who has money. Do you have money?
I do have some money, yes, but that's not what's really important here.
He brushes it off like it's not a thing at all.
He's not gonna give you money. What are you doing? Clearly you were just profiling. No, I mean, come on. You need the money. If it's not a thing, he can give you some.
Could I have some of that unimportant money then?
Oh no, I don't have it on me, officer. I was talking in more general terms.
He looks uncomfortable, his left hand squeezing his son's shoulder.
I'm just spending time with my kid here, showing him around the lesser-known parts of our hometown. It wouldn't be wise to carry huge amounts of cash on such expeditions.
Not that he would have to worry about being robbed. He looks surprisingly buff. Does he work out?
What's so fascinating about an empty old building?
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building.
He raises his hand to his eyes, springtime sun warming his handsome face. All four of you turn to admire the mural before you.
What not a lot of people know is, this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
Hold on. What's R&D?
I'm gonna look at the building looming over me.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill.
Wait, what's an R&D department?
Apologies, it's an acronym for research and development. They don't use it anymore.
He smiles brightly, laugh lines around his eyes.
You're probably more familiar with RTD, Research and Technological Development.
Mea culpa. You are not familiar with that one either. This man is a bookhead.
I don't think I've ever heard of this field electrical.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains.
He adjusts his suit jacket.
They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve, or should I say they were developing an ace up their sleeve. I'm mixing my metaphors here.
What was that ace?
It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a tape computer.
A tape computer?
An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution. Revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bring them to the average consumer, which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM, haven't achieved yet.
He grins, admiring the sentence he just produced. What happened?
Indeed. What?
The revolution!
The boy wipes his nose on his sleeve.
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes, possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins.
He pauses, pointing to the other building, then continues.
All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D.
You're saying that Feld Electrical built this boardwalk?
Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
A pleasure wheel?
The lieutenant looks wistfully at the horizon, as if picturing gondolas rising to the sky.
Perhaps reminded of a childhood memory. It's clear he would prefer there were a big wheel lighting up the coast.
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics. But history had other plans.
What happened to the engineers, the company people?
Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about tape computers...
He means that the boys got shot by the communists. The boys were bourgeois.
He means they all got shot in the head because they were bourgeois. Now, do you know what the bourgeoisie is?
Officer, I told you this chapter of history wasn't on Mikhail's curriculum yet. Let's keep this kid friendly.
The boy looks first at you, then back at his father, confused.
What did the revolutionaries do with those advanced tape computers?
They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases. The most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars.
What was that?
What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02.
A short-lived legislative foundation for a short-lived utopia.
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bombessier dans le Lind. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
He looks at his son, who starts giggling, his face hidden behind the book.
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion.
How did those tape computers work? Did they work like radio computers?
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware.
He raises his finger, remembering something.
Buckle up.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Womty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Juice joined the team, trying to...
Wait, did he just say Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? He did it. He said Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center, like it's the most natural thing in the world. What the hell is a Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Juiced?
Okay, the Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center. Paul Okerman, Keith, and Guy Juiced? What are you talking about?
The Womty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Arts. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, chose to...
Come on. There's no place called the Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center of Arts.
Actually, I think there is. No, it's too much. He's joking.
In fact, I'm not. The Womty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition space / contemporary art research center. But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution. The machine would then analyze the handwriting, perform operations, and project output onto a white screen. It was a beautiful, delicate thing.
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
Cool.
Very, very cool. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to this precious device. But so they did. The felt playback experiment vanished into the fires of 07.
Wait, the failed playback experiment?
Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report it as the Felt Playback Experience, but those are incorrect.
Why did the revolutionaries destroy it?
Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. Nothing but debris and ashes remain inside that building.
He takes a step back, the boardwalk creaks mournfully in the wind. I wanted to ask something else.
But of course, what else?
By the way, do you work out?
I do some Lomantang stick fighting now and then.
Lo Mantang stick fighting is a form of martial arts originating from the island of Lo Mantang. It uses slender wooden sticks for confronting the opponent.
A form of martial arts from the Isle of Lo Montan, right?
Actually, a great many cultures have their own version of stick fighting, such as the sacred Mabolo tradition of the Harley people, the name deriving from the butterfruit tree traditionally used for crafting the long, slender sticks, whereas the sticks used in other cultures...
You doze off as he paints you a comprehensive picture of the history of stick fighting among mankind, seasoning it with unexpected pop culture references. Man, he's good at speaking. People must love him.
But anyway, I'm boring you with details again. You were saying?
I don't really remember what I was saying.
Then I guess everything got said, right?
I want to hear about the Fed building again.
Sure. What's on your mind?
Nah, never mind. I wanted to ask something else.
But of course. What else?
Great, thank you for all the interesting information.
No, thanks to you for having me and Little Mikhail here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation indeed.
Pick your brain. If anything, this was rather one-sided. He did the talking. Whatever.
Okay, interesting. Let me look at this new thought here. The Wompty Dumpty Dom Center. It's Wednesday evening, and something heinously exciting is underway. People have gathered beneath the billowing roof of an oddly shaped trophy building, sipping wine and exchanging opinions. 29-year-old Wunder twins, Guy and Keith Joost, are the stars of the show. With their bomber jackets and white sneakers, head curator of this art exhibit. It's the Wompty Dumpty doomiest event of the year, and all the cool kids have RSVP'd. Where are you, if you're not there? Maybe I'll do that, I don't know. Right now, I definitely want to finally get inside that church if I can. Actually, let me take a quick look up here because I was still trying to investigate the bullet trajectories. And one of them was at the boardwalk, if I am not mistaken. Let me see if I can find anything here. Nothing, just a trash can.
There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin.
Nope, nothing here, so maybe somewhere else. Oh. Moonshine, probably. Smells like tasty fermentation. Yeah, not really seeing anything here. Okay, let me just go to the church. Still gotta make more prank calls later. I'll try to remember to do that. Okay, so I think I need physical instrument here and my crowbar. So let me see if I have any physical instrument stuff to put on. Electrochemistry, pain threshold, physical instrument, the tank top. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make another round at all the pink checks. I have a few of them, like the barbell, and there was one at the dice maker, so I think I'm going to take a sip of wine. Or any alcohol I have. I have the Pilsner, I guess. Let me take a sip of the Pilsner. I hate when it doesn't... I'm not sure why it doesn't go through like that. Okay, there you go. There we go. The physique is raised. Excellent. Let me go ahead and get the flashlight back on. And now let me try this.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you.
Okay, I need to put a point into physical instrument so I can retry it.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood.
So let's do it 83%.
You jam the pry bar between the lock and the staple and apply force. Your biceps bulge from the strain. The metal creaks and squeals. The pathetic old wood, rusty screws, and one nail stand no chance against the forces of leverage. From deep within, a bellow rips.
Welcome to Revachol, Lock.
Suddenly, the pry bar snaps. Metal shavings fly everywhere. The upper half, between the lock and the staple, falls to the ground with a thunk.
The fuck? How's this even possible?
Tools break, officer. Try to control yourself.
For example, see how calm I am, although you broke my favorite pry bar.
Look at the broken tool in your hand.
The broken edge of the snapped pry bar is smooth. Took the tip right off. A bad omen. Beware of this church.
I broke the pry bar. Where do I get a new one?
I don't know. You don't? Or maybe we'll find a new one. I don't carry more than one pry bar with me.
He looks up at the bell tower.
I thought this was a lousy way to enter a place of worship that's already in disrepair. I guess the church agreed.
This was surely just a freak accident.
Okay, I'm gonna leave. Maybe there's another way in. I don't know. Now I don't have a pry bar, which kind of sucks. But I want to go do all those pink checks. So I'm gonna teleport back to Martinez. And then I'm gonna try to go lift that barbell. And then I'll talk to the dice maker as well. I'll pick up my dice. And then I think there's a Shivers white check on her. So I can take advantage of the alcohol I got going on. Let's do it.
The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master.
Alright, so 72%. Looks like I failed. Dang it. Oh well.
You manage to hoist it off the ground, but the barbell feels wobbly and dangerous. Your hands slick with sweat. Turns out you're no beast, just an old man with bad form. See? See? This place is cursed.
Seems like I'm a little out of shape, or maybe these gloves just suck.
Proper weightlifting gloves would definitely afford a better grip.
The lieutenant agrees. One day I'll lift this barbell. One day. Let me put that on there. And then let me go to the dice maker. Gotta pick up my dice. She's all the way up here. Good. And I think she has a Shivers check, so let me check my clothes for Shivers. I keep saying I'm gonna organize this thing in between episodes, but I keep not doing it. Sorry. Anything with Shivers. Let me put my conceptualization jacket back on. Electrochemistry, half-light. There we go. One Shivers. Anything else? +1 Shivers, -2 physical instrument. But I would have to take my... I can't take the horrific necktie off. I can't. I refuse. I will not. So my Shivers is at +1. Okay.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
I came back to pick up my die.
Very good. That will be 7 real for one custom die.
Here you go.
Here's the cursed die you ordered.
The dice maker opens her desk drawer and hands you tiny black spheres with 6 phrases written on them. Let me read the phrases.
The phrases read, God is indifferent. Take all. Lose all. 50-50. Nothing happens. And pale.
What is this?
It's a die. Try rolling it.
Cast a cursed die.
You throw the ball on the floor, and it ends with one of the phrases facing upwards. God is indifferent.
Good. Now roll again, detective.
It lands on exactly the same result. God is indifferent. It declares again.
It's a sphere pretending to be a 6-sided die. Each roll will end with one of the phrases facing up. The die originates in Ilmara, where it was used for cleromancy. Except I've weighted the die. When you try rolling it, you realize that each time it gets you exactly the same result. God is indifferent. This is our curse.
It's even worse than she says. God is dead. We live in a forsaken age.
You're saying that the end result doesn't matter.
In the face of death? No, not really.
What a relief.
It is, isn't it? There's something liberating about knowing it's just we humans. No all-powerful forces guiding us, watching us, judging us.
I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for the die.
Good luck, officer.
Alright, and oh, look at this. That die actually unlocked this because it looked like I was going to have to put another point into Shivers. So let me cast the die.
A gust of cold air sweeps through the chimney. The stones and minerals on the shelves rattle as though agitated. For a moment, it almost feels as though you're outside the building, exposed to the atmosphere.
Hey Neha, the curse is real and I figured out why it spared you.
Didn't we already talk about this?
She asks as the wind continues to seep in through the cracks in the old chimney. It's because you're not in the building as the others. This isn't technically the doomed commercial area.
What are you talking about? My address is exactly the same. Rue de Saint-Guilain 10.
She says, shaking her head.
No, the old coal plant that used to be here was subsumed into the new venture. Its ruins swallowed up. Yet it has a different address in the heart of the city.
No, this used to be a coal plant. You're in the chimney of another building.
This doesn't make any sense.
She looks around the makeshift nest that she has carved out for herself, bewildered.
Are you saying my business was spared because of a technicality? Where is this coming from?
Let's say I have my own methods. Unusual methods.
And what? Does it mean that I'm safe from failure?
Don't let her become complacent. She still needs to ward her soul against the evil forces.
Actually, it's only your workshop that's protected. You should still do something to defend your person.
She starts laughing, her fingers trying to rub away the exhaustion from her face.
What?
Do you know what this is?
She raises her hand to reveal a piece of metal shining on her index finger. A lucky charm? A Semini sword?
It's a mourning ring. I made this when my first company failed. It was a small jewelry shop right here in the East Delta Commerce Center, built with the little I inherited from my parents. I drove it into the ground within a year. I didn't have what you would call a viable business plan.
See, the curse is real. I bet you didn't run this little jewelry shop from the protective depths of the chimney.
No, you're right. I didn't. It wasn't just the jewelry shop either. I always thought that it was just the world you were supposed to try again and again until you finally succeed. And now you're telling me what? That it was all because I didn't run my little shops and ventures from a dump inside an abandoned chimney?
Don't call it a dump. You've made it nice and cozy here.
Yeah. Or maybe it's the entire world that's cursed. It's such a precarious place. Nothing ever works out the way you want it.
She stares out of the window, not really hearing your words.
That's why people like role-playing games. You can be whoever you want to be, you can try again. Still, there is something inherently violent even about dice rolls. It's like every time you cast a die, something disappears. Some alternative ending or an entirely different world.
She picks up a pair of dice from the table and examines them under the light.
But anyway, thanks for sharing your theories, officer.
She gives you a tired smile. Very interesting. Let me look at my dice here. The spherical dice with an octahedral cavity and a small internal weight will settle with the one of the 6 phrases facing up. God is indifferent. Take all, lose all, 50-50, nothing happens, and pale. It's made of bog oak burl, coloring it malevolent black. Note, look at the map tab in the journal to see which white checks have opened. Okay, so this opened up some white checks, which is interesting. So I still need to determine where the shot came from. Where could the shot have killed the hangman have come from, if not the roof? This will take some checking out of locations. The boardwalk, the island, and Land's End. Make Titus give up Ruby's location. Ruby was the organizer of the hanging. She's also missing, but the Hardy Boys will be tight-lipped about her location. You need to get them to open up. Have you fully explored the whirling? Analyzed the site of the murder? Truly and thoroughly interrogated Classier? All this might make convincing them easier. And then I got my 2 signatures for Everard, so I need to put the envelope in the mailbox in the plaza. Need to inspect the traps. The last trap was empty. Return to Morel in the Whirling Inn with news. And then let's see. Yeah, I don't know what opened up here. I know the Shivers one opened up, but whatever. Then let me look at the new thought. The precarious world. Seems like the point of this game is victory. The absence of defeat on all fronts. Victory in business ventures and creative undertakings. Victory in love over other people. Political victory. Ideological victory. Hell, even sexual victory. Definitely a lot of object-based victories, too. Having things and not losing them. One problem, though. Not a lot of victors in sight. Everyone's mostly losing. Why is that? And how do you not lose? Alright, let me get out of here then. I don't know, I have a feeling the physical instrument might have opened up. Because Shivers was pink, so... Let me just try this again. See if it opened.
The barbell waits patiently.
Nah, it's locked. And by the way, let me put this jacket back on with conceptualization. Okay. Let's go. There's one more physical check that I can use with the alcohol, and that's that door where Clausier is, if you recall that one. Let me put the letters in the mailbox here.
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito and bullet holes in the front.
I knew we'd get to use this mailbox for something.
Other than kicking?
Drop the white envelope in the mailbox.
You drop the white envelope in the darkness. It lands with a soft thud on what sounds like a couple of letters. About a week's worth of mail as collected in there. They'll empty this very soon. Probably did the right thing. You can't trust that slug, Everard. You know he's going to play you somehow.
All right, let's go back to Everard. If we don't mention anything to him, he won't know before it's too late.
Okay. Let me check if she finally finished running the numbers.
You see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Did you find out more about the owner of the armored boots?
Yes. It took some convincing, but I got the mercenary's name and a few biographical details. Are you ready?
The lieutenant leans in to listen, notebook in hand.
The world will end soon.
Okay. Does that mean you're ready?
I was born ready, baby.
That suit of armor was issued to an Oranese citizen named Ellis Kortenaer. That's E-L-L-I-S K-O-R-T-E-N-A-I-R. Exact date of birth, unknown. He was signed into the Lelystad County Neonatal Care Unit on 28th of February 09.
Neonatal care unit?
He was found as a newborn in a leaf compactor near an abandoned farm. He spent 4 months in the neonatal unit, survived apparently, and was assigned to a foster family at 2. This is what the ICP knows about him. He was raised by foster parents, entered the Eastbrand Military Academy in Vredefort at 17, then served in the Oranese forces till he was honorably discharged in 41, just a year before the Seminese conflict. Then the armor followed him to Seminine, or at least I assume it did. And that's it. There are no records of his employment in Crenel, or any of its other incarnations, or him even entering Revachol.
Wait, he was found in a leaf compactor?
It's a garden tool used to press leaves into these cubes. It's a detail the hospital had, the only detail in these files. So I thought it would be good for you to know.
It is. Thank you, Alice.
Any information on his foster parents?
None, officer. Sorry.
So all we have to connect him to Crenel is the armor.
Even that is a small miracle. These organizations usually double-check their inventory. Thank you, Alice. Great work.
No problem, Lieutenant.
She sounds pleased.
A compliment from Lieutenant Kitsuragi. Not bad.
Well, we have his name and service record now.
The name. This is very good. Ellis Kortenaer.
This means something to him, to know that name. Like naming a case. It's important. Sometimes police work is about human dignity, about giving back names to anonymous victims.
I'm glad the inquiry was helpful to your investigation, officer. Did you have any other questions?
I'm done with the radio for now.
57's over and out.
Her voice disappears into the void.
In the cabin, you see a...
Alright. Yeah, let me go up here and try that physical check before my alcohol runs out. Still need to talk to all these people here. How much time do I have? 35 minutes? Let me talk to this guy.
Boy, am I ever so grateful to you, officer. But I'm not the only one who wants to thank you.
He nods towards Lena. I'll talk to her then. Okay, fine.
Oh, sweetie, I don't even know how to thank you for finding my husband and helping him out. I hope we haven't been too much trouble for you.
Just doing my job, ma'am.
Here, I want to give you a small token of my gratitude. It's a tie, Mexican origin. The pin is an antique, quite special.
She hands you a thin ribbon held together by a silver bird skull.
The little silvery knob holding the tie together feels warm in your hand. It's in the shape of an avian skull with 8 eyes. You could ask her about this when you get the time. It's probably a cryptid, but the phasmid, of course, is more important.
I'd like to hear about more cryptids.
Of course, dear. Is there a particular cryptid that you're interested in learning about?
Is this bird a cryptid?
No. It's the cryptid.
Wow, the cryptid?
Oh, yes.
The small silvery skull shines between your fingers, its beak sharp. Okay, what is this bird?
The 8-eyed teratorn, the largest flying avian ever discovered, with a wingspan of 11.5 meters. It was thought to have gone extinct 3,500 years ago. Some even doubted the fossils were real. A mutation, they said. Until...
Mutation? All of evolution is a mutation.
Until it was cited by renowned Gotvaldian explorer and naturalist Uwe Plattenkalk in 21.
This renown seems a bit dubious. Your own catalogue comes up completely empty. But, of course, you are not all-knowing.
I need to hear about this sighting.
It happened on a botanical expedition into the vast and unexplored Oamrau Canyon in southeast Ilmara. Dr. Plattenkalk got separated from his group during a sandstorm.
Okay, and Oamrau is...
The world's largest canyon system, sweetie. It's a barren waste east of the Erg Desert. An ancient riverbed completely dried up.
What happened?
Alone in the blasted desert heat, the doctor wandered eastward, where man hasn't stepped foot in over 1,000 years, since the fall of Pericarnassus. He was lost, without any navigation equipment and desperately low on water. After a day or two, he noticed a bird high in the noon sky. A great black bird. It seemed gargantuan. Every now and then, the bird would dive down to feed on an animal carcass somewhere on the horizon. But by the time Uwe got there, the teratorn had taken off already, and the carcass was picked clean. This happened many times.
It followed him?
More like he followed it. A bird that big has many liters of blood in it, and he was dying of thirst. For many days, Dr. Plattenkalk followed the teratorn until they reached a great canyon wall, where the bird finally landed to rest. The professor climbed up there with a rock in his hand. He found the bird sleeping with his head tucked under its wing, a great black pile of feathers on the perch. So he approached, slowly squeezing the rock in his fist. Then the teratorn suddenly looked at him. He could see it had 8 eyes, 4 on either side of its skull, like a spider. and the man couldn't move. He was paralyzed, frozen into place with the rock in his hand. Whatever he did, he could not get closer to the bird.
Why?
The bird was controlling his mind. It kept him from approaching. He could step back, but every time he stepped forward, paralysis. Uwe spent 3 days trying until the bird flew away.
Hold on, how did he survive to tell the story?
The 8-eyed Teratorn was indifferent to him, as long as he didn't get closer than 2 steps. It even let him feed on some carcasses up there, and the 2 unfertilized eggs it left behind.
An 8-eyed, mind-controlling bird, fuck yes.
Absolutely, sweetie. Cryptozoologists have been tracing it ever since, but Wamrao is vast, mysterious, and holds many secrets.
Modern radar telemetry shows great promise. We will confirm this one by the end of the decade, latest.
This one I liked. Not only does it have 8 eyes, and is a living fossil, and the largest bird ever to live, it also does mind control.
He's sincere. He likes the audacity of it.
So, that was the last anyone saw of it?
Sadly, yes. But there are numerous reports of 8-eyed bird skulls from Il Mara. And then there's the striking resemblance to the Pericarnassian imperial eagle, an ancient heraldic symbol that is hard to pass off as coincidence. The imperial eagle, too, had 8 eyes.
Not really. It's just stylization. The way they drew eyes. It's not a zoological drawing.
Very, very hard.
This one's very famous. Everyone knows it. People will be looking at that tie on you and thinking, that man is into cryptids. So, what else do you want to know?
This has been educational. Sadly, we need to discuss something else.
Of course, dear.
That's all for now, ma'am. Let me take a look. +1 Volition and Inland Empire. A slender bolo tie held together by an antique clasp in the shape of a bird skull. The skull features 8 cavities for eyes. It's disturbing, but you can't look away. Alright, I still have 24 minutes. Let me talk to this guy.
Very generous of you to help us out, officer. I'm sure glad to be back from that little excursion. I mean, officers.
Gary, do you know how to turn back time?
Do I know how to turn back time? Is that a trick question?
He gives you a sideways glance.
Are you still pursuing this?
The lieutenant gives you a tired look. Yes, this is important.
More important than our murder investigation?
Potentially more important than anything ever before.
No, it really isn't. Just please make it quick, so we can get back to our low-priority murder case.
Make what quick? You're asking me about time travel. Is this some kind of a trick?
I'm all out of tricks, Gary. Tell me what you know.
Phew. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, of course there are theories out there.
What kind of theories are we talking about here?
Well, there's a very interesting cryptid known as the Semper Ma, and a certain tribe of ancient Kits who practice digital castigation. Though, frankly, I don't know how compelling you'll find that theory. And then you hear rumors that the Sealites possess technology that actually lets them move through time like it's a corridor. Back and forth, you see.
Tell me about this cryptid, the Semper Ma.
Cryptids, actually. It's a so-called colonial animal, presenting as a large singular body when in actuality, it's a congregation of tiny organisms working in unison. It's found in the subtropical jungles of Sumatra. Extremely difficult to spot as it appears to the untrained eye like common mud. It's thought to be impossible to catch and very dangerous.
Wait, it looks like mud?
Yes, it blends in with the jungle floor. Unsurprisingly, it's become the subject of many local myths. Some have even described it as an angry forest spirit or a manifestation of the forest itself.
How dangerous is it?
I once heard a story about a whole village disappearing overnight without a trace. Can you imagine that? Just a large patch of mud where the settlement was.
He shakes his head. Yes, vividly.
Whole area is completely abandoned now. Locals won't even go near it. They swear the mud writhes and occasionally grows strange shapes.
Terrifying.
It gets even scarier. You see, the Semper Ma has also evolved a curious defensive mechanism. When threatened, it has the ability to revert back to an earlier stage in its own life cycle. It may even be able to do this continually, ad infinitum. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. It's believed that the mechanism by which the Semper Ma reverts actually reverses the flow of time itself.
To be able to revert back to a previous version of yourself, to the one before all the mistakes. That's why we're here.
By about 4.5 seconds.
Hang on. I still don't see how this immortal mud monster is going to help me turn back time.
Well, you see, the fascinating thing about it is that this temporal reversion is said to extend to anything touching the Semper Ma at the moment of reversal.
So if I cover myself with this sentient mud...
and attack it over and over again, you could theoretically punch your way back to the Franco-Nigerian era.
Like a submarine fueled by suffering.
Very well, this Semper Ma will pull my ox cart through the ages.
Assuming you survive the encounter, but that's way down the line, of course.
Okay, I'm convinced. What's our next step?
Well, first we'd need to secure funding for an expedition, then assemble a team, gather supplies. There's probably a million other little things. But with the resources of the RCM behind you, it could be feasible.
That would take forever. Isn't there like a pill I could take or something?
I haven't really heard of any time travel pills, officer.
He rubs his chin thinking.
And personally, it seems easier than accessing deep secret SEAL-like technology and more civilized than digital castigation. But to each his own.
You really think the sail lights can really move through time?
Well, how else did they get so far ahead of everyone in the tech race?
Yeah, how did you guys get so far ahead? Turn to the lieutenant.
No part of me is part of this conversation. Oh no. That's a special thing you two are enjoying with each other.
The lieutenant keeps his eyes fixed on his notebook.
Everything's cool. Nothing wrong with a little speculative inquiry. But really, officer, how do you explain how the SEAL lights developed such a lead over the rest of us?
By developing an aesthetics of pure functionality, separated from traditional notions of beauty?
You know, I don't think that's it. I bet there's plenty of beauty over there. Art and inspiration too. But that's not why they're winning.
Wait, what kind of technological advantages are we talking about?
Come on, officer. Everybody knows about it. The stuff they've got, most people here can't even dream of it.
He rubs the back of his head, looking down. You're right, I can't even begin to imagine what you're talking about.
Believe me, it's there. Technology's so advanced, it defies description.
He's avoiding your gaze.
But that's nothing. Just wait till you learn how they've managed to get so far ahead of us.
How then?
Isn't it obvious? Someone's been feeding them a little trickle of tech down from someplace no one else can reach.
That secret, inaccessible bunker near Land's End.
That old thing? No, the future. The SEAL lights are helping themselves from the future. And every little incremental improvement they receive in the present has major ripples all along the timeline. That creates a loop, right? The more advanced tech they send here, the more advanced they become in the future. Which means that by smuggling ever more advanced tech down to the past, I'm sure you can see where this is heading.
Within this self-contained logic bubble, a loop. He is not wrong.
Then we've already lost.
I don't know, officer. I think future Revacol might also have a few aces up its own sleeve. The people are starting to wake up, you see.
God, I hope he meant it sarcastically. If not, I don't really see how he can continue being a police detective.
Though I suppose this still doesn't help you manipulate time personally. Perhaps you should consider digital castigation.
What's this digital castigation?
Well, essentially it's a grief ritual practiced by certain ancient Seminese tribes. Traditionally, after the death of a village leader, the bereaved are supposed to cut off a segment of their own fingers. What makes it really disturbing is the fact that they bite off bits of their children's fingers too. Even babies. Imagine that.
He frowns.
Please note, tales of digital mutilation are a common trope of racist pseudo-histories, completely unsubstantiated by the archaeological record.
What does any of this have to do with turning back time, Gary?
I'm getting there. See, the practice is derived from Seminese finger counting. Each segment of the finger represents 1 hour, so they count up to 12 with one hand, disregarding the thumb, of course. By removing one segment from their fingers, they remove the corresponding hour from their life. That's what they believe, anyway.
So you're saying if I cut off both my hands, I can go back to yesterday?
No. There's a discrepancy between how these Seminese tribes count and how they tell time. As I explained, they count up to 12 on their fingers, but they divide the day into 15 parts. But that's a whole other discussion.
One you absolutely don't have time for. Let's be done with this idiocy.
This wouldn't help me even if it was remotely believable.
Oh, well, this is embarrassing, but I'm really not sure what else to tell you.
Gary, none of these sound like realistic options.
I don't know what to tell you, officer. I got all my information straight from Truth Hunt. If you can't believe a radio program called Truth Hunt, who can you believe?
Truth Hunt is a popular radio program. Each week, its two eccentric hosts explore a variety of topics, from cryptids and conspiracy theories to ethnic warfare and the historical man from Yelmdal, a radio counterpart to the Guardian fringe science magazine, Paradox B. This guy has proved to be a dead end. A dissatisfied growl in your abdomen. But the hard endure, and the true Kingsman keeps searching. Viance, brother. The night is darkest before the dawn.
Thank you for your cooperation. Okay, so I'm about to run out of my alcohol, so definitely let me go upstairs and try that door. Let's do it. And I also need to question her again with Kim here. Do I have all my physical stuff on? No, I need to put this on. Okay, good. Alright, let's try this out.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight.
42% chance. Let me try it. I got it. It's nice.
This time, something cracks inside. It is an unbelievably satisfying sound.
Nice.
The young woman nods.
Filling you with a belief in your own body.
I will say something here about the game's mechanics. I've noticed that there are so many opportunities to heal your morale just from doing tasks, but not many opportunities to heal your health from doing tasks.
Well, sounds like this time the property damage was at least resolutive. Would it hurt to look in?
Let's see.
Bent metal. Broken glass. Your path lies strewn with the broken forms of everyday objects. You are the Destroyer, the bane of inanimate matter.
Gaze upon me, stuff and despair.
Kudos.
Okay, so a lot has happened here, and I think it's a good stopping point for this episode. In the next one, I'll probably interview Clausier with Lieutenant Kitsuragi here, and then explore finally what's inside this door. So we'll pick it up from there. Thanks for watching as always. If you are one of the few people that have been watching this series every episode from start to finish, let me know in the comments. It always feels satisfying to me to know that at least one person is watching the series from start to finish. If I can get just one person to watch one of the games that I do, every video from start to finish, that makes me happy. I know most people just kind of click around the videos sometimes, but some people enjoy the full experience, and I want to know that there's at least one of you out there. So let me know. Thanks. See you next time.
Thanks for stopping by the Renaissance Gaming Monastery. I hope you join our community on Discord and Twitter. These videos are produced with a lot of hard work and love. If you think they're worth $1, I'd be grateful for your contribution. You can send a thanks donation or become a member on YouTube. You can also support through PayPal, Patreon, or even with cryptocurrency. All links are in the description. See you on the next video.